Gold Tooth Brian Coronado, ladies and gentlemen. Next guy coming to the stage, fairly new on the scene, but I've been following him very closely, and he's a very, very funny guy. Been sitting in the front row all night, barely cracking a smile, but laughing at the funny stuff. Give it up for Mr. Joe Ney. Joe Ney.
Thank you. I want to congratulate John Levine on this hosting job. I've been following him too. He's on the rocket to greatness. I know because he's doing everything that a successful comic does. He's on Facebook, he's on Twitter, he's on podcasts, he's on drugs, and eventually on trial. Mr. Kirby, where in Minnesota are you from? St. Paul, okay. I lived in Duluth for 1 year. One very cold, cold year. The only thing good about it is summer came on a weekend that year. Probably overdressed a little bit. I use this to identify myself after hearing, after one of my first shows, I heard someone refer to me as that old, fat, Rush Limbaugh-looking asshole. So now they say, yeah, the guy in the sports coat, he's an asshole. Actually, for one brief moment, instead of the jacket, I thought to identify myself, I would wear a handcuff dangling from my wrist. But then I thought, nah, that's ridiculous. I dated an Australian woman for a while. It's pretty much the same as dating a woman from the Northern Hemisphere, except I go down on her counterclockwise. If you're in a comedy show, then there's a good chance that you guys watched Last Comic Standing, and you saw the final episode where one of the judges told a contestant it takes 20 to 30 years to become a great comic. I started this year at 55. So at 85, I'm really going to be rocking at it, building 23 of the Shady Pines retirement home. I'll be doing brand new material every single night. Well, I'll think I'm doing new material. I just forget that I did the exact same set the night before. And 20 years in, we're supposed to be able to do sound effects with our microphone. But I'll be 75 then, I won't need to learn to do that. I'll just point the mic at my various body parts. We're approaching the holidays, where we see family, including kids, and we always talk about how much they've grown. Well, why discriminate, and why don't we acknowledge all the height changes, even with our older people that are shrinking? Aunt Betty, I haven't seen you since, how long has it been? I think since you were this tall. You're going to need a step soon to get onto that bed. She's going to have to use the Disney tickets I got her for Christmas real quickly before she is no longer this tall to make the ride. Speaking of holidays, one pet peeve of mine is when the stores put out things way too early. Like in summer, you start seeing Halloween stuff. In the fall, you start seeing Christmas stuff. I went into Publix last night. It really pissed me off. It's not even winter yet, and they already had spring water on the shelves. Watched a documentary on the Revolutionary War. Learned that the soldiers ate something called Johnny cake. Johnny cake sounds pretty good until you find out it's just cornmeal and water cooked on a stone by a campfire. So it's definitely not cake. Now the first part of the name might be right. There were so many body parts laying around the battlefield, it may have included some pieces of Johnny. Leon, you talked about the Mile High Club. I did become a member of the Mile High Club recently, accidentally. The lavatories are so small and I'm so large that when we hit some turbulence, I became intimate with a soap dispenser. I call her Bubbles. She's not much on personality, but she is self-lubricating. So I guess that's a wash, literally. Because of that incident, Virgin Airlines will now have to change their name. Thank you very much.
Keeping over Jonay, everybody. Coming to the stage, a very good friend of mine. Does comedy all over South Florida. Give it up for the very hilarious Lamont Stewart, everyone.